What does it really take to be a successful crypto project in 2023? Well, we're going to talk about it with the Kounotori project. They're building a centralized exchange, NFTs, and staking. Now it's time to dig a little deeper. Hello, everyone. My name is Sean. I am the Crypto Smith. Thanks for coming back and checking out this video on Kounotori and the Kounotori project. Kounotori is working on being a centralized exchange, and you're wondering, why would they want to be a centralized exchange? Well, they want to build a clear path forward for good, solid projects in the crypto space that you really couldn't get before on any other central exchanges, as most exchanges will literally list just about anything if they pay a fee. Now, some of the tier one exchanges do a little more digging, right? There's a bit more heavier KYC process in place. But for the most part, for the hundreds and hundreds of other exchanges out there, a lot of them do very little research into the project that they're listing. They just want to see that they've got somebody's ID, who's on the dev team, and then can they pay the fee? That's pretty much what they're looking at. But Kounotori wants to take it a step further and dig a little deeper into these projects to make sure that you are not putting your hard-earned money or crypto into something that is sketchy or is not going to be around after a couple of months. So let's get into the white paper a little bit more. If you missed my first video on Kounotori and basically that 30,000 foot overview that I like to do, I'm going to put it right up here. Take time to watch after this video. You might get a little bit more information. Now, I want to read a little bit here that goes into the regulatory issues that we're running into in the States and in other parts of the world where they're trying to really figure out, where does crypto fit in the financial scheme of things. And it says here, though the laws and regulatory aspects of cryptocurrency are still being established, cryptocurrencies are already becoming recognized and adopted by governments around the world. This recognition also means that cryptocurrency cannot remain an ambiguous space used for nefarious activities, including fraudulent data collection, money laundering, and tax evasion, of course. As a result, we believe that centralizing certain aspects of our project is critical to ensure that we remain secure, resilient, and compliant well into the future. And I applaud them for that, for even taking that stance in the very beginning, having the foresight to know what's coming down the road, right? You have to plan for what's coming, not for what's right in front of you today. And they have said that here in this statement. So as this project goes forward, we're going to be talking about that more and more, especially when it comes to staking and NFTs and how, especially here in the U.S. where I reside, how the SEC or the CFTC is going to govern these things. If they're going to try to call everything that's staking a security or NFTs are going to be a security, we're not really sure yet. Hopefully sometime in the near future, we might get a glimpse as to what they're going to do. Now, one thing I did not mention in my first review video is that they are working with Alchemy. And it says here, to ensure the quality and functionality of our upcoming centralized exchange is of an exceptional standard, we have partnered with Alchemy, a London-based award-winning development studio, right? And that's this company right here. And if you look at their website, it's a very well-built website. It says we're a team of 200 plus project managers, designers, and developers. And then it goes into some of the items here that they've developed. And if you'll look down here, MyBricks, DeFi property investing made easy, something they were involved with. Mercor, trade finance and KYC compliance solutions. And then Bando, empowering of musicians. Bando lets you find all of your favorite artists all in one place. This allows you to find the music you love, shop for exclusive merch from artists, talk to artists in real time, and much more. Use the Bando platform to feel closer to artists in the music industry. That's pretty cool. Obviously, these are not the standard things that you see in the crypto space, but a development studio like Alchemy can put together items like this. So sifting back through their white paper just a little bit further, I'm not going to go into the things I already covered, but there's a couple of items I really wanted to get into. And it's going to be all about transparency and honesty in this space. Now, this says here, as part of our goal to ensure transparency between our team and the community, we have communicated several changes to how the team budget is allocated, predominantly due to the creation of new roles and review of existing ones. They've also been minor changes in personnel and levels of responsibility among the team. And this here begs the question, how do these individuals, how do the developers actually get paid? Which part of the project pays them, right? Is it coming out of a marketing wallet? You know, are these people just independently wealthy, right? I mean, I doubt it. But here are the taxes, right? It started out as 7% to marketing, converted to ETH. Now, this is very important, and I'm going to talk about this here in a second. The reflections, 3% to holders. And as the project grows, this can change. It's a sliding scale. 2% to marketing, converted to ETH, and then 8% reflections up to holders. Now, there's a couple things here that we need to really kind of parse through. The ETH marketing reflections. So this is important because a lot of projects that you've probably been involved with, I know that I have been involved with, and that are currently working today, have a marketing wallet. Now, they say it's a marketing wallet, but normally they have to sell tokens out of that in order to continue to pay for the project. They got to pay rent on the office space. They got to pay developers. They got to keep the lights on. And I understand all that. And as long as they're honest about that going into it, I have no problem. Now, a lot of projects actually kind of paint this marketing wallet as a marketing wallet. Like they're really going to use it to go out and push to get more eyeballs on the project so that people can buy in, thus raising the price for their holders, right? Because they need that kind of hype to keep a project rolling. That's also one of the necessary evils of the crypto space. But when they get these marketing reflections, right, and it goes into that marketing wallet, they convert it to ETH right away. That way, they don't have to sell KTO tokens in order to pay for the development of the project. What happens if they have to sell the KTO token? The price goes down, right? If you and I are holders and they're continually having to sell KTO tokens, that's going to dump the chart, right? That's not going to make you and I feel very positive about the way things are rolling, watching our wallet and the money factor continue to drop. It's amazing to me how many projects that have come and gone over the last 2 years that never considered that never understood why communities would turn against them as they continue to dump their tokens on the market. I understand that you have to pay for the business. That completely makes sense to me. No issues, right? But you could have come up with a better way to do that as opposed to just continually to dump on your token holders. So this was a very smart idea by Kounotori and their developers early on to come up with this solution. It's a very basic solution, but like I said, it is surprising how many projects did not do this. And it says right here, though many teams typically hold a store of their own project's tokens for development, this also requires the token to be sold, thus affecting its price. To avoid the positive usage of project funds being overshadowed by a subsequent decrease in token price, the team has chosen to retain our marketing funds in the form of Ethereum, right? And of course, that also gives the chance for that marketing wallet to go up in value. I mean, of course, it could still go down, but it could go up in value as Ethereum gains popularity and gains more hype and gains more use case. So they can significantly grow that marketing wallet and really take advantage of the Ethereum price increases. So this should ensure funds are always available to improve on the project without negatively impacting KTO's performance and its investors' pockets, right? That is literally the most important thing as a token holder that you are looking for. What are they doing to help build price? So now, as we do not have a marketing wallet in KTO, the ETH wallet is also used to purchase tokens for burns, giveaways, promotions, and even to buy the tokens required to provide liquidity for exchange listings. The burn mechanism also is something I wanted to touch on here on this video. Because the burn wallet is considered a generic holder, it receives reflections the same as anyone else. Depending on the current transaction tax, it will always receive a minimum of 3% and a maximum of 8% reflections, and therefore burns with every transaction. So those reflections are getting burned, right? Thus helping the burn rate, in which they can really use that to get that very large supply of KTO down to a more manageable number. Okay, just something I wanted to point out. I thought it was amusing. In the CertiK contract audit, this here says one of the lead developers have provided a breakdown of the two issues that CertiK flagged as major, right? And one of them is centralization risk, right? Well, they're trying to become a centralized exchange, right? So that, I guess, makes sense that there is a centralization risk. And it kind of goes into, while the issue would be entirely eradicated if we were to renounce the contract, that would mean our scalable tax tokenomics would be rendered useless. Now, here is another point I want to make. They did not renounce the contract, right? Early in the DeFi space, 2 years ago, if you got into a project, one of the major things people looked for was a renounced contract, because that means, developers can't go in after the fact and start changing things, making it non-sellable or trying to pull liquidity from here and there. That was unfortunately an error on our part as a growing ecosystem in the crypto space. we thought that was a positive for them to renounce the contract. Unfortunately, we learned, and it didn't take very long to learn that very difficult education that we got early in this space. If you renounce the contract as a developer and you need to change things down the road to move the project forward, you have to basically cancel that contract and come out with a V2 and then airdrop tokens and all that stuff that's involved. And it's an absolute nightmare. So there's really only two ways you can get around that. You can either build your project on a modular type blockchain where you can pull certain parts out and put other parts in, right? But that's changeable, but it's also scalable for when you have issues down the road, or you want to expand the project or the scope of the project, or you just don't renounce the contract that you came up with in the first place. The community is just going to have to trust that you're going to have the community's best interest in mind. Also, there are blockchain experts out there who can read the contracts and tell you exactly what's in it and what the risks are. So for them not to have renounced the contract is another remarkable thing that they've done. And I don't really know if this was something that they saw a glimpse of the future and how renouncing the contract was really going to hurt them long term, or whether this was just kind of an accidental benefit. I mean, kudos to them for doing that, right? That really helps. Having to come out with a V2 or a V3 or a V4 every time you screw up and you renounce the contract, it kills projects dead. Like, that is just one of those things that people don't want to go through. And it goes on to explain here as part of this centralization risk, right, that was deemed by the CertiK audit. Worst case scenario for the risk is the contract to fall in the hands of an evil person who then changes the marketing tax to 8%, the marketing wallet to their own, and renounce the contract. Such an event, the team would be faced with no ongoing funding for marketing, development, or platform building. However, it poses minimal risk to the holders, right? That's really what they want to get across to you. And so now for this last part of the video, I want to go into on how honesty and transparency can really help your token grow, because that is not the standard, unfortunately, in crypto or the DeFi space or the community space, where everything is laid out to bear, mistakes included, right? That's just not normally how these projects work. And to give you a great example, just a couple of weeks ago, there was an issue, and I don't know all of the pertinent details of that issue, but basically money got hacked. And basically what I can say is that they were injecting liquidity into Shiba Swap. And while they were doing that, it says out of the 20K total in ETH, only roughly 2.48 trillion, after taking tax into consideration, was inserted into Shiba Swap for the SSLP tokens. This was because the balance of each token on liquidity needed to be roughly even. Hectic times led to oversights, and this one is on me. This is one of the developers who said he screwed up, made a mistake. They got hacked, lost money, right? This coincided with taking over for Yon and restructuring the back end of KTO security. The remaining 552 billion has been sent back to the Gnosis where it belongs until they're ready to make the next move. So any further questions you have, you can DM him directly, and he'll get back to you as soon as possible. Apologies for the oversight and the length of time it took to find it. Transparency and honesty are a must here at KTO, and the devs are no exception. I mean, red heart emoji indeed. This is what a good project looks like in my book. Now, they're going to make mistakes. There's going to be accidents. There's going to come a time where something gets hacked, something gets lost, poor judgment was utilized, but how they recover from that is really going to determine how successful a project can be. So this, yes, a bit of a black eye on the Kounotori project, but it doesn't kill anything, right? This just, I think, makes people stronger. People have been involved in this for 18 months now. And a little hiccup probably isn't going to shake out too many people. Yeah, there's probably a hit on the price, but that really shouldn't matter. If you are into a project for more than just the tokens that you purchased, you're going to stick with them as long as they are honest with you about what's going on behind the scenes. And that leads me to my last point, and that is, I want to tell you the difference between a new holder and an old OG, been in crypto for the last couple of years, right? Been through some things. You can tell somebody this project can come out with all of the utility that they have promised, and it would be an absolute Main Street parade moment, right? And a new person in crypto is not going to understand why that is so exciting, why that is so rare. They're going to say, yeah, they said they were going to come out with an exchange and they you guys gave them money and they came out with an exchange. I don't see what the big deal is. People do that in business all day long, every day. Yes, that's true. Out in the brick and mortar world, you can actually see what's going on behind the scenes, right? If they're building a building or a business, you can walk by and you can see at what point are they in that construction, or at what point are they in the building stage of that business. You can see if it's sitting for long periods of time with no work done, right? That lets you know the state of that business. This is very difficult in the crypto world, right? They can tell you anything they want to tell you, and you're just going to have to believe it because there's no proof to a lot of these things that are going on behind the scenes. So the more transparency and openness they have, right, the better that project, I think, is going to be, and the better community is going to be to that project. Now, if you've been in this space a while, you've been one of those OGs, you know how absolutely rare it is for a project to spend a length of time, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and actually come out with a working product. That is very rare. So looking forward to see what Kounotori has up its sleeve coming this next 6 months. That's going to be my video for today. Look forward to the next one. We're going to break down NFTs and how that's going to work and all that staking stuff that's going to happen. So we'll see you on that one next week.